Sixth grade, welcome to lesson 4 in history class. We're going to go back and go a few of these other kingdoms that are going to be there to be able to see some of the things that came and went as we talk about some of these other kingdoms, mainly to the south of Egypt today. In lesson 3, we talked about the Middle and the New Kingdom. We named 4 or 5 different famous pharaohs that you're going to have to keep straight and what they were known for, from Ramses II, the guy who ruled for 66 years, to Tutankhamun, who didn't rule very long at all, was killed young, but we found his tomb with the wealth still in it. Hatshepsut, the female one. Um, Thutmose, Amos, Akhenaten. You got a lot of names you got to start to keep straight, which is going to start to challenge us. It's one of the first chapters where we start to meet a lot more people and trying to keep what they accomplished clarified in our mind. We're on to lesson 4 today. It's called the Kingdom of Kush. The kingdoms of Nubia and Kush were influenced by Egyptian culture, and they continued many of the Egyptians' traditions. We have a goal of why do civilizations rise and fall. You should recognize that from the lesson 3. It was also the same one. So Kush, Egypt, Nubia, they all come and they all go as far as power is concerned. In addition to Egypt, other civilizations flourished in Africa. One of these African civilizations was Nubia, which was later known as Kush. Nubia was located south of Egypt along the Nile River in present-day Sudan. So you got Nubia for number 1 in your blanks. Cattle herders, number 2 in your blank, were the first people to settle in the region, arriving what they think is around 2000 BC. They herded longhorn cattle on the savannas. A savanna is the grassy plains that stretch across Africa south of the Sahara. Later, people settled in farming villages along the Nile River. Okay, so you have the grassy plains. This is where you think about a lot of the animals that roam these things. So here you have a picture of the savannas of Africa, right, from today. Unlike the Egyptians, though, the Nubians did not rely on the Nile floods to create fertile soil. Their land had fertile soil and received rainfall all year long. Okay, so it's a totally different lifestyle here, guys. Egypt depended on the Nile. Nubia's does not. They get enough rain. Nubian villagers grew crops such as beans, yams, in your notes, rice, and grains. The Nubians also hunted for food. Their hunters and warriors excelled at using the bow and arrow. So always keep the weapons in mind, guys. The right weapons can totally change how warfare goes in history. So they became very good at hunting the animals that are with it. Obviously, very fast-moving animals. A bow and arrow increases your chances of getting them when they start moving fast. Remember, a lot of these grains right here, these foods that they grew would be known as staple crops. It's things that last. We can dry out beans and rice and grains. Even yams, we can get them to last so they don't spoil right away. Like you think of a banana, I don't have too long before the banana goes bad. Gradually, the stronger Nubian villages took over the weaker ones and formed the kingdom of Kerma. That's number 4. The Nubians of Kerma grew wealthy from agriculture and from mining of gold. Their kingdom developed a close relationship with Egypt in the north. Kerma's central location in the Nile Valley benefited the Nubians. It made Kerma an important trade link between Egypt and the tropical areas of southern Africa. From Kerma, the Egyptians acquired cattle, gold, incense, ivory, giraffes, leopards, and enslaved people. They also hired Nubians to serve in their armies because of their skills in warfare. Kerma's artisans produce fine pottery, jewelry, and metal goods. So, guys, they are gaining in power and wealth. Why? Because they got so many products that people want. So, you got Egypt in the north, and they say, hey, we want these exotic animals. You can grab enslaved people that we want to work. You have money, you have food. They had a ton of things that they wanted. They also had skills that were in high demand. And so, because they were good with the crossbow, because they were really good in warfare, then the Egyptians wanted that as well. Workers built tombs for Kerma's kings, but they were usually on a smaller scale than Egypt's tombs. Okay, so that could be done for a number of reasons, guys. 1, lack of resource, or 2, looked at Egypt's huge tombs and said, cool, but a little wasteful. And so we're going to honor our kings, but we're not going to go as big as you did to do those things. Like the Egyptian pharaohs, the kings of Kerma were buried with their personal belongings, including valuable gems, gold, jewelry, and pottery. These artifacts were as magnificent as those found in Egypt's royal tombs, that were built during the same period. So they're just trying to say everybody knows about Egypt and how great they were. Not too many people know about Nubia and Kerma, and yet they're probably equal, just not as famous. Egypt's armies invaded Nubia in the 1400s. After a 50-year war, the Egyptians conquered the kingdom of Kerma and ruled it for about the next 700 years. Take a few things in stride. We always talk about a 50-year war and like, oh my goodness, does that mean they're just nonstop fighting for 50 years? Of course not, okay? We currently are in the war against terrorism over in Iraq and Afghanistan. Are we fighting battles every single day? No, we're not, okay? So, sorry about that. But eventually they get their freedom. Obviously, during that time, guys, different political pharaohs are going to come, different Kerma kings are going to come to power as this goes on. Okay, so over here, the Egyptians conquered them. As a result of the Egyptian rule, the Nubians adopted many of the beliefs and customs of Egyptian culture. For example, the Nubians worshipped Egyptian gods and goddesses along with their own Nubian deities. They learned to use copper and bronze to make tools. The Nubians adopted Egyptian hieroglyphics to fit their own language and create an alphabet. So you got the Egyptian language of hieroglyphics, and the Nubians just adopt that. So guys, it's kind of a two-way street. We learned from the Nubians warfare and skills and some of the products they had. They learned from the Egyptians the communication pieces of that, building temples, things like that. It went back and forth. Okay, we're just going to take those 2 pages today. We'll continue on with it and finishing up lesson for tomorrow.